Hello and welcome back to All Things Money. I'm your host, David Blain. Thank you for joining us today for this third and final segment of our show, or the final show of April of 2013. During the first two segments, we basically talked about whether investors in bonds should fear rising interest rates. And we're not saying that it's going to be a great environment to be a bond investor, but we think that bonds still hold a place in a well-diversified portfolio and that rising interest rates are not going to be the disaster that some people predict. We think that the volatility dampening ability of bonds will be somewhat muted from the stock market, but they're still their job. The interest rates can't go down as much as they could before. And that if we look at history as our guide, we see that even in rising interest rate periods that bond investors can still make money and actually stay ahead of inflation. Okay, well, we want to move on to talk about college. In the little time we have left, there's no way that I'm going to get through all this, so I'll encourage you to tune in again next week or head on over to the website and get some archive copies of the show. But with springtime comes a lot of things, including high school graduations. And for those seniors maybe going off to college, we thought it'd be useful to touch on some financial related aspects of college, as we always do. College has become a big business. You don't hear about it much because of the whole media academic complex. I mean, they're sort of in bed together, for lack of a better word. And so you don't hear a lot about this, but college is a big business. It's just like big oil or big pharma or big defense that get excoriated so much in the press. And we think that as a consumer or spending your hard-earned money on college, that there's some things that you need to look out for. So one thing I'll mention as I sort of beat up on the colleges is that the article here, college graduates still earn nearly 3 times more than high school dropouts. Okay, so we want people to make sure that you stay in high school at least, get your high school diploma, go on to college. We're going to talk about some alternatives to the overpriced 4-year degree, but make no mistake that we believe that people should get as much education as possible. In fact, at our firm, one of our core values is knowledge, that we advocate for the continual acquisition of knowledge throughout your whole life, a lifetime learning, that learning should never stop. The day that you stop learning about your profession or the world is the day that you start falling behind and become susceptible to people that are continuing to learn. So I want to get that out front, that we do believe people getting an education, going to college, whether it's community college, technical college, 4-year degree, graduate degree, PhD. But what we don't want is to feel like that you feel like you have to go and get all these advanced degrees and put yourself in debt. Now certainly there are certain professions that you need to, but it's not applicable for everyone. But remember, college grads earn nearly 3 times more than high school dropouts. So at a minimum, you want to get that college or high school degree, diploma. Okay, we talk a lot about going to school, and the point of education used to be to go get a well-rounded education, to learn different points of view, to get a broad perspective. And of course, that classic liberal, and I don't mean liberal in terms of the political sense, conservative versus liberal, but liberal in the educational sense, the liberal arts education, philosophy and Western civilization and Eastern civilization and literature and government and history and things like that. I mean, that has just gone so far by the wayside. It's a lot of propaganda, frankly, today, and some of the crazy majors they have in some of the social sciences are just ridiculous. So most people go to college today to get a job, to start a career. And so we think that you should know what pays a lot. If you're going to go to school and spend all this money, to come out of college with a degree in, some ethnic studies thing, you've basically wasted your money if you're looking to get a job. You know, these type of majors, there's just no future in them. If we look at the highest paid majors, you'll see that the majority of them are in the engineering and technical aspects. That's where the jobs are. And so you have a ton of people graduated from school, they can't get a job because they have no skill that is desired. You know, certainly we need people in social work and mental health and these type of things, but just the sheer number of people cannot all work in that field because it doesn't generate any income. It's sort of a drag on the economy. So when we look at what pays well, we look at the number one starting salary, petroleum engineering, number one, $93,500. Now, you can go to a good state school, get a degree in petroleum engineering, and you can essentially, in your first year, pay for your whole college education. We like that kind of payback, where we see some people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for a job that pays $30,000. Not a smart economic decision. All right, so petroleum engineering. Number two, computer engineering. Three, chemical engineering, computer science, aeronautical engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical and communications engineering. You kind of see a pattern here. A lot of these degrees have engineering at the end or computer at the beginning. Management information systems and business, engineering technology, and the number 10 is finance. So if you're going to school looking for a degree that pays a lot to get a job, as a lot of people do, you know, I would encourage you to take a look at the engineering fields. My degree, although I don't use it today, my degree is in mechanical engineering, and the beauty of engineering is the process that it teaches you to think that's applicable, and whether you go into business or social sciences or anything, the way that you learn to think and the problem-solving skills that you learn as an engineering major can translate everything from human relations, you know, human resources, all the way, you know, to finance, to engineering and things like that. Same thing with the computers. I mean, computers are ubiquitous throughout the world. So when you're looking at going to college and talking to your children about what to major in, I would encourage you to have these discussions. As I said, the only reason to go to college is not just to get a high-paying job, but if you're going to spend a whole lot of money, in my opinion, you want to make sure that you're getting some sort of return for that investment. Nothing wrong with a liberal education, but if you think you're going to pay it back, it's not going to happen. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll continue on this topic next week.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Inner Banks Media.